What's up everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to be showing you a KT 2 town center build that doesn't stray too far away from the standard KT opener in a way so that we can adapt more in the games depending on what you're facing. For example, you're facing a Dark Age rush, somebody spear rushes you, you're not going to be locked into a very long Dark Age that previous 2DC builds have that optimize for 2DC timing. We're still going to be able to get a very competitive 2DC timing, but we can also switch into archers and other units to defend ourselves. Very smart. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to run 6 villagers to food, rally 2 villagers to gold, and then you build 1 house and 1 mining camp on the gold as well. You're then going to rally food onto the sheep, and then with those villagers on sheep, you just continue to rally sheep until you can go H2. For H2, you want to be picking Knight Hospitalier. The reason we pick Knight Hospitalier is because we're playing 2 town center. We want to have faster movement speed on our villagers as it helps survivability. And if you pair that together with a wheelbarrow and textiles, you can outrun most things, and your villagers will just in general be super easy for you to defend, as you won't really have to worry too much about raids. Doesn't mean you don't have to worry about it, it's just a lot easier to defend it. You can still go for the other ones as well, but I just think that Knight's Hospitalier has been buffed so much now that it's just way better for KT. So, you're gonna run 2 to gold, then you have your 6 on food, you continue to rally to food until you can go H2. Then you're gonna do a split, very simple 6-6 split, and then rally food. So now, at 2:12, we can now click our age up. We won't start aging up until 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and it'll take 1 minute for us to go into H2. That means we'll be aged up at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So the other build orders I've seen them age up at a later time, because then you'll age up with 15 vills, and then you'll go up at 4 minutes, and then you'll instantly build your second TC. The problem with that a lot of times is, if you get harassed during your collection of resources, that's going to suck a lot. So we are going to do it this way, because now, let's say we were getting spear rushed, now we could just go on wood, and then have an archer out, and then start gathering our wood afterwards. Albeit a bit delayed, it is a way more effective way to defend against early aggression. So I really like this build. Now we have villagers on wood. We put 6 there, we put 6 on stone. We have 1 villager here on food. And then the whole plan here is those villagers will be gathering wood, and these guys will gather stone. And the moment they're done gathering their 60 stone, then they start going back and you build a mining camp. So that's pretty much as optimized as you're going to get it. You're going to have 6 on stone this way, 6 on wood, 1 on food, and these guys are going to drop off by you building this lumber camp, mining camp here. So that's a really smart way to get the most value out of your stone builds without making things too complicated. So scout your opponent, figure out what they're doing. So most of the time you're going to find that people play very aggressive. When they play very aggressive, you're going to make 2 town center into units, and then you're going to defend until you've taken some good trades, and then you can go H3, and then you'll have some army and upgrade that army. Very simple. You don't want to make pilgrims in a situation like that. You just want to make units. Now, I want to show you this game here because I think it's a really good display of the strength of the KT2 town center timing, especially against other civs that have similar levels of economy. So what we're going to face here is an Abbasid 3 town center. And you might say, if you go 2 town center, does it really make sense for you to go 2 town center because he's just going to outscale you? No, it doesn't. Of course not. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for 2 town center. He's going to go for 3. And because he's going for 3 town centers, that's going to slow him down more. We can produce more units. And so we can use our resources, that gap of resources where we have more, where his 3rd town center hasn't paid off yet, to do a nice timing attack. So it's a very classic RTS principle that you can do a timing attack on somebody who greets. Okay, so now we have our villagers rallying to food. We have H2, of course, so our villagers are faster now. And now we're just rallying onto food, banking food, so we can immediately make villagers out of our 2nd town center. Because our opponent's gathering stone as ecoing and is going to go 3 town center because he sees us going for 2 town center, we're going to put our 2nd TC greedily. That means we put it on deer and gold. Let's say he was going to go aggressive and he started making units now. He was a military wing opener into, horseman archer. Then what we would do is we would take our 2nd TC, gather the resources that we'd need, and then we'd put it on the wood line instead. That would allow us to start making archers, and that's a really cheap defense. We could also put it on the wood and gold. And because we have Knights Hospitalier, the H2 H up, we can then start making the healer men-at-arms that have a lot of HP, that can tank a lot of damage and heal up adjacent units. And then you basically just have them on gold, and it's like 60-50 cost or something. I don't remember the cost completely, but it's very, very efficient because you're gathering gold, which you pretty much always have. So depending on what you're facing, think about what units you want. And if you're going to use the Hospitality Knights, put the second TC in gold. If not, then put it on wood. If you can, then try to get both. And if your opponent greeds, then put it on deer. That's the short sort of cheat sheet of how to do that with the second TC position. We put it here. We're building it at 436. And I think that's a really decent time for a very adaptable and versatile build order. Now we're building it with all of our wood wheels and all of our stone wheels. And we are rallying onto wood. This will now give us a little bit of a wood float. And we're rallying to food, and we'll get a food float this way. That'll allow us to make villagers out of both TCs. If you don't have more than food or on food, then you will not be able to immediately make villas out of your second town center. So try to have a little bit of extra here. 6 is a really good number. And then macro afterwards. So now he's greeting, I'm greeting in a TC meta, which we haven't had for 2 years, but I'm going to show you this one because it's unique. And I think it's a really interesting example. The 2DC meta pretty much dictates that if you're playing 2DC versus 2DC, going into units after is not very good. You want to go fast castle. So you want to go 2DC against 2DC, and then you want to go castle age right after, and then you make the units defend. Men-at-arms, archers, and then take relics, go for push. So now we're just going to macro food and gold. We get a lot of gather rate from our deer, so that's going to give us a nice food income. Hence, that's why we put it on the deer in the first place. And then we build a house here. And then we're just going to go H3. So we're speeding through Feudal because nothing's going to happen here. He's going to make 6 units or something. And that's pretty much it. So now we have also seen 3 town center. We H up with the Angevin Empire, which gives us heavy spears. And they're really good at dealing with most things. You can spam this. You can also just go men-at-arms. Really, any of these are actually good. Maybe Kingdom of Castile is a bit more niche, depends on the map and if you're going to fight a lot around the sacred site. So yeah, now we macro wood, we macro the few in stone, because with a push like the one we want to do, we want to get a fortress. So fortress is going to be really, really good for us because it'll give us some nice bonuses when we fight around it. We can upgrade it and it'll give us extra, stats in our units. But we can also use it as a forward position where we can build a workshop. And then we can start sieging down our opponent. So, stone, wood, gold, and then a little bit on food just to make the units we need. So he's making spears, for example. Now watch this. This is without wheelbarrow. Our villagers are so fast that you can't actually chase them down. And now we also have wheelbarrow coming in here. That's going to make us faster. And he's going to start harassing us over here. We'll make a monastery now. We'll make archer rangers, men-at-arms. Archer rangers and barracks for men-at-arms. And then we'll just defend. Gather the stone we need once we have the stone we need. We've taken a few relics. We feel safe. Then we're going to go push him because he's going to be Hing up. So a couple of men-at-arms. These villagers, look how freaking speedy they are. They have 142 movement speed. A normal spearman has 125 and a horseman has 188. So even like knights at 162 are going to have a hard time catching up to these vills. Even with formation shuffling, it's going to be even worse. So yeah. Now we're making units, we're making archers, we're making heavy spears, we're making men-at-arms. We could also mix in a few hospitalier knights. It costs 60 gold, 50 food. So I was right initially. Gathering some stone. We can go into caster mode now. And then you can see, okay, the income for each civilization. We don't have any pilgrims right now because we've been aggressed. And so I'm not really prioritizing that right now. If I was not being attacked, I would go pilgrims. He doesn't get a will here. So we're still managing to defend just with movement speed. And now we're going to get textiles here in a bit, I think. We're gathering 600 stone, 300 gold. And then we're going to go push him with this fortress. We have our first monk. He's going to drop into the monastery. We're making men-at-arms, archers. And we're going to start going towards our opponent. Because he's aging up, he's still H2, and he's not making more units. So right now is a decent time to start the push. Second TC is of course pumping non-stop. When you make TCs, you always make villagers just as you would if you were on one TC. Now we're gonna attack here. We come from the top side. There's also an opening here we can use. And so now we're attacking him. Now he would start to make higher quality units like ghulams and crossbows now. Switch that around. But the thing is, men-at-arms and archers do actually quite well against, most things. archers will kill crossbows, men-at-arms will deal with the ghulams in a one-on-one, and then you have extra units coming in, like your own crossbows, your heavy spears, etc. So this is a decent composition to use when you're on 2TC. I usually don't advocate for playing full infantry. I'd much rather play Knight Archer or Knight Spear. But it's really good here when you're playing a 2 town center meta, which is what we're playing here. Because the pushes are slow and they're siege focused, and it's hard to attack into bases with cavalry. You want to have siege instead. That's why we go for this infantry composition over a cavalry composition. So understand the difference. Cavalry has more mobility, better for a more aggressive raiding type strategy, whereas where you're slowly getting ahead in economy, but against somebody who's going multi-town center as well, what you want to do is you just want to go heavy infantry and siege together. We've now pulled these villages here. We have the stone in the bank that we want, and now we're going to build our keep here in the front, our fortress. The fortress is going to give 15% range to units around it, and it also has an upgrade that's going to give 1/1 stats. So our units are going to be a lot stronger fighting around this. This will force him to go into trebuchets. So now he's going to try to disrupt this. We have our 15 plus extra HP, which is really nice. We get that from Knights Hospitality HP. We forgot about textiles, so try to remember that when you do a push like this. And then, of course, like he doesn't have any ranged upgrades, ranged armor or anything. So we do full damage with our archers. Our archers are sniping his crossbows. Men-at-arms are fighting. It's a good time. Now we pull our villas back and forth. They're fighting a little bit as well. He's trying to snipe them with crossbows, but it doesn't matter. We have too many units. In our base, we have a very standard split, a 2-2-1 in terms of ratio. And yeah, we're just making units. It's going to be hard for us to spend all of our resources because we get so many. And look at the income here. It's actually very decent, and we're able to keep up with 20 villager lead from our opponent. Now I'm pushing my opponent pretty deep here. I'm taking out his crossbows. I'll probably stay here for a good time and just keep taking out his units. And I should probably have done that. But I would prefer to retreat a little bit here and let's overstay my welcome. Then I make some siege engines, wall up this area, take the boar, and build forward position. This is really good to do if you want to deny somebody from flanking you with cavalry, as you will be making siege units. You should probably also wall this, which I don't do. That's in retrospect. So yeah, now we make siege. We can make a second workshop. Let's see, we're starting to struggle, spending our resources, floating quite a lot here, when we could have been making more. So yeah, that's also a thing you could improve. We got the first upgrade here from our fortress, and yeah, he started to make some siege as well, and it's fine. We're having a good time. Even if we lose this fortress, it's going to be okay. We're now going south here, gathering the gold. We have this boar income, and we're just spamming this. And then he's going to take out the fortress. We have a Wololo here. So this is just execution, basically. You want to deal with this. He's going to try to take out this workshop. We've made an additional one. Make Springles and Mangonels, of course, to deal with his army. And now he's going to start pushing me. I take my archers. I have them in a control group. I just shift click the crossbows and these up here. And then I attack move my spears and men-at-arms. I'm taking out his House of Wisdom. We still have the House of Wisdom bug in the game, so he's actually repairing this House of Wisdom for free, even though he has so much wood. It doesn't actually cost him anything. And that's the same for Idols. So now we are taking out crossbows. We have a very, very large number of melee units, so we just win this fight just based on pure linear law. And he's going to have to pull the vills to take out the siege. So we start to get a good amount of villager kills. Here we can use our units to block the villagers, which is very nice. And we can use the Wololo to block these Ghulams in. So I'm going to try to move on top of them. And then try to convert a few and get a boar them or something, which I think is pretty decent. So yeah. Now we are going to keep defending. He's going to take no vills. That's fine. We can always remake. Make another workshop. And then it's just going in because he's just lost everything. And then the game is over. So our timing push worked, and we managed to get ahead. Having a really nice economy backline, and able to push out before his eco overtook mine. Yeah, that's how you play Templars on land. I have no clue if I think this is, on the level of anything like China or Lancaster, Japan or Biz or Ottomans, but I think it's good. I don't think it's as horrible as I thought it was. So I will admit that it's better now. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Try out the build order. It's of course in the description. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Check out the coaching membership. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.
良きかな。